I'm absolutely sure that for mortgage professionals, this is going to be a massive separator. Those of us who become the most valuable business partners will take an unfair share amount of market. Partnerships aren't owed because of friendships or the amount of time you've known someone or worked with someone. They're earned and they're maintained through continuous advice and value that we know will not only increase your production, but it will create a partnership that's going to be hard for any of our competitors to really keep up with. Happy Thursday, middle of October, third weekend. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I'm here at the Sales Mastery Momentum Builder event in Dallas. So that is Dallas freeway area behind me. But team, I will just tell you, I am very excited about today's webinar. It's one that I've been thinking about for a very long time, really since I've gotten into business in 2011. And it's just a real raw evaluation of your value to your business partners. In today's world, how do we protect the partnerships we have? And how do we grow or create new partnerships with the absolute best and most aligned and most value-oriented real estate builders? So the reason why I'm really excited about this month's webinar is because I'm absolutely sure that for mortgage professionals, this is going to be a massive separator. Those of us who become the most valuable business partners will take an unfair share amount of market. This has to be something that we all genuinely believe in because it wasn't true in the past. We didn't have to partner with the best real estate agents and the best builders, and we could still be successful. That is not true today. We definitely have to change that, and I'll get into why. But as always, for those of you who stay to the end, we're going to give you access to a really amazing business tool, and you're going to get it a month before everybody else. So we're effectively going to give you a sneak peek into next month's webinar, and you'll have access to this tool for 30 days in advance of anybody else that would be attending next month. Stay to the end. I'll get everybody access to that, and then I'll just talk you through it and explain more about it. All right, so jumping into this, if you at all believe that the world is collaborating around us, which I do, I was listening to Tom Ferry this morning. He was the kind of opening keynote speaker here at the event. And it was not planned for him to talk about this, or I didn't know he was going to, but he spoke about the exact topic that we're going to talk about today. And it was incredibly timely, but essentially what he said is to all of us lenders is that we need to be more valuable. We have to understand that market share is not going to distribute evenly. It's going to go to large mega agent teams. It's going to go to builders. It's already 25% in the builder capacity, and even more so than it has in the past. So as lenders, we have to be working with the top builders and teams if we want to have that unfair share of our market. And this webinar is really meant to give you all the playbook to do exactly that. So we're going to walk through that. But to set the stage here, to stress why this needs to be very important, is that we have to understand that in our mind that there is a difference between a referral relationship and a business partner, like an actual business partner. So over the last 30 days, I have personally met with 17 real estate team leaders or builders, all of which who've helped kind of on the low end about 150 families per year, and on the high end about 1,100 families per year. And one of the first questions that I'm asked of all of them is, can you tell me if you've ever had a true business partnership with a mortgage professional or just a referral relationship? Now, most of the time they just kind of pause and they try and understand the question that was just asked. And I have to kind of step in to give them some clarity. And what I say is, look, a referral relationship is when you essentially just have a relationship with a lender. And when your clients mention that they need a mortgage, that you just refer to them. They close on time, they do a great job, they have incredible client experience, you can count on them, and they're just really great at what they do. Plus, you have a great relationship with them. Your friends, they believe in you, they represent your brand well, all those things. That's a great referral relationship. And I say that is what 99 out of 100 builders and agents have with their lender. And then I say, conversely, a business partnership with a mortgage professional is a more substantial arrangement. It's much more impactful for your business. This is when the mortgage partner brings just as much value to the top line revenue of the partnership that you do. A business partnership with a mortgage professional would be that they are generating leads for the partnership just as the way you are. They're increasing conversion of the business with buyers and sellers. They're investing money in the collective partnership all through RESPA-compliant manners. They elevate the value proposition of you and your team to really commit to more for each client. They can help you generate 2 to 3 more transactions per listing by leveraging each listing that you have. For builders, you have a forward commitment agreement in place with that business partner. You have integrated databases to provide more long-term value. There's consistent strategy meetings. And I kind of just go into like that is what you would really expect from a mortgage partnership. And you can see the wheels turning, and all 17 of them have told me, no, we've never had any partnership to that extent. Now, we've only had referral relationships according to your definition. And so my message to all of them was simple. I say, Mr. Agent or Mrs. Builder, for years, I was that same relational lender. I always did my job at a high level, but if I'm honest, I always just showed up with my hand out. And what we realize today is that partnerships aren't owed because of friendships or the amount of time you've known someone or worked with someone. They're earned and they're maintained through continuous advice and value. And we are here today to talk to you about a genuine partnership that we know will not only increase your production, but it will create a partnership that's going to be hard for any of our competitors, any of your competitors, to really keep up with. And I can tell you that all 17 of those people that we spoke with, we are moving towards that partnership model now. And we have what we call a crawl, walk, run strategy to do so. But I had never met any one of these 17 builders or agents prior to that. It was just our team out there making introductions and starting these conversations. So before we dive into what we all need to be doing here, I want to ask everyone on the webinar real quick just to do a quick audit. And for this to work, we have to be really honest with ourselves. We can't let pride or ego get in the way. And so I want you to just take a second and think of your top referral partner, the agent that gives you the absolute most business. Now, imagine they were to come to you, or in this case, me, and they were to say, Ryan, I was just offered a business partnership with another lender, and they're committing to bringing me at least 2 extra closed transactions a month. And at 100% commission, that equates to a minimum of about $250,000 a year in additional revenue based on kind of an average $400,000 purchase price. So if your agent tells you that, what would you say? Like, really honestly, what would you say? Because I think I'm pretty good at what I do. And I could not think of a single reason why I couldn't have to look that agent in the face and say, yeah, I think you have to take that partnership if they're going to do that. If I could not, in good conscience, also deliver that type of value, then I couldn't tell them they should keep working with me. Now, whether they deliver or not is another story, but the opportunity is pretty massive. And they wouldn't leave me immediately. They would start to see, okay, they're actually bringing in business. And then over time, I'd be gone. So as opposed to trying to defend against what we know is coming, I just decided, well, let's just play offense. Like, I want to be the person offering the absolute best and most valuable partnership to all the most aligned and valuable real estate agents and builders in my market. Because that's what I want to do. Today, we're just going to give you guys that playbook. And my hope is that you do the same thing. Because if you're here or you're watching this, it's clear like you're investing in your value. You want to be a great business partner. And that's exactly the kind of mortgage professional that the future of this industry is going to demand. All right, and guys, if you have questions, feel free to type them in here. I think there's some Q&A coming in. John, is this strategy outlined in the Loan Atlas? It is not, John. This is a separate webinar that we're doing from the Loan Atlas right now. And we're going to dive into how these transactions can be delivered consistently. So we'll dive into that as well. Okay, let's go into what we should be doing right now in each aspect. If you're taking notes, I would encourage you to do that. Obviously, this is going to be on YouTube afterwards, but I think writing these things down it just help when I take notes during webinars or if I'm at an event, it helps. And I'm not going to ask you to write a ton of things, but there's what I call 10 layers of value. And you're going to want to have all 10 of these layers in place to bring to a partnership. And then we'll just talk about each one of those layers as we go through. So layer number 1, we want to bring buyers and sellers to the partnership. So I remember early in my career, every time a realtor didn't want to talk to me, they would say, oh yeah, Ryan, hey, thanks good to meet you, man. I'm happy to work with anybody. My policy is if you bring me a buyer, then I'll refer you a client as well. And I'd always just like, all right, I guess that's just my cue to leave because I didn't generate any buyer business. All of my business was generated from the real estate professional or from the financial planner or from a past client that is doing repeat business, which is already tied to a realtor for the most part. On any given year, we helped 600 families a year for a while, my team, but on any given year, I don't know if I had more than maybe 5 to 10 total buyers that I could refer to somebody, or maybe someone selling a house from time to time. That wasn't my focus. And so I could never bring to the partnership what I genuinely wanted to, which was I wanted to get to the consumer first. I wanted to pre-approve the client. And then I wanted that client to say, what agent should I work with? Or I have a great agent that you should be working with. And then we get to control the distribution of where that goes. I can tell you from speaking with all these agents, getting buyer business is really challenging for agents these days. And the ones that are doing it well are getting it from Zillow. And they do not like paying 40% of their commission to Zillow. They do not like having to direct their clients to Zillow Mortgage. They don't want to do it, but they make money doing it. And so when we get to show up and say, hey, we can bring you leads, you can get 100% commission on every lead that we drive to you. And you don't have to force anyone to use us. They genuinely want that because the best real estate agents don't want to be so closely tethered to an outside source. And if you are genuinely in partnership with them, they will see it as a collaborative event. And so a lot of questions come up when I talk about that. That sounds great, Ryan. How do I do that? The first and easiest way is to create an organizational lead generation strategy. Now, I know everybody's at different companies. We have brokers on here. We have credit unions on here. There's hundreds of people on this webinar that are at different places and different organizations. Go to the leadership of your organization and figure out how to create leads at scale through an enterprise solution, because it's way easier to do from an enterprise than it is to do as an individual. If you have access to lead generation where you're creating the buyer or the company is creating the buyer, lean into that. It's a superpower that most people don't have. And every company can do it. It's just a matter of if they want to or they know how to. And it could just be you get a group of 10 of you within the organization and you guys all collectively invest in a strategy. But doing it as an organization or as a group is much easier than doing it individually. Not impossible to do individually, just you're going to have better scalability and better overall metrics, and you'll have lower cost per lead. So ideally, you work in an organization that is generating exclusive buyer business and then getting it to you in your local market. Now, the next thing you could do, and it doesn't have to be an either or, it could be both, is AI searchability. Tom talked about this morning in the meeting. Most people are not going to be using search terms anymore. They're not going to be using Google. They're not going to be typing in to a search engine, who's the best lender, where do I get the best rate? What they're going to do is they're going to go to Perplexity, they're going to go to Claude, they're going to go to ChatGPT, and they're going to search in that. Now, there is a ton of information. And if you want to just message me on Instagram, just connect with me on Instagram, send me a message. I'll send you every slide that Tom had today. And I'll show you step by step how to become the absolute best, most findable mortgage professional in your market through AI search. It's not super challenging to do, but it's going to be important for everybody to do. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but not a lot. And it will genuinely help you get consumers that are just reaching out to you, that are just searching in your market, that are finding you through AI search when everybody else is still working on SEO and Google. So AI searchability is going to be important. Like I said, just connect with me on Instagram, shoot me a message. Make sure to include your email, whatever email you want me to send the slides to, and then we'll send the slides off to you. Number 3 is social funnels. Neil Dinger this morning was at our event, and he, as always, blew everybody's mind with the way that he can create lead generation through social funnels. So if you haven't connected with him, great way to do it. But there's so many opportunities for you to put content out into the world, create a social funnel through ManyChat, create lead generation. You can actually filter it through with questionnaires. Again, we did a lead generation webinar. So if you go onto my YouTube page, there's a lead generation webinar. It's the 3rd webinar that we did. And there's a ton of information about how you should be thinking about lead generating in today's world. And we'll do another webinar on it coming up here soon. And then another way is collaborative lead generation with business partners. So realtor.com, Realty, there's a bunch of different sites out there where you guys can collaboratively spend 50-50 to go generate business. Right now, it goes to both of you. Again, you're not exclusively bringing it to the table, but you're still investing in it on their behalf. So any one of those 4 ways, whether it's your company is generating them for you, AI searchability is creating that opportunity for you, social funnels is creating it, or collaborative lead gen, all ways in which any real estate partner will want their mortgage professional to show up. They just won't want to work with lenders anymore that just close loans. Okay, so that was number one. Number two, let's see, we got a question here. Paul says, please explain again the loan officer's commitment to the prospective partner and what exactly you promise them. Paul, that is exactly what I'm doing right now. So each one of these things is what we are committing to. So as a mortgage professional, we are going to go to the best real estate agents and the best builders in our market, and we're going to commit these 10 things. Number one was lead generation, and it's bringing both buyers and sellers to the table. So you're not depending solely on the real estate agent anymore. Okay, number two is you want to increase your conversion rates for buyers and sellers. So you want to go to your agent and say, look, I know that wherever you're getting your leads from, you have a certain conversion percentage on your buyers and you have a certain conversion percentage on your sellers. What I will do for you as your mortgage partner is I will increase both of those sets of clients and get more people committed to yes. Right? And then you basically show them how through your dreams and goals call and your consultations, you can take a prospective buyer from I'm not sure to I can't wait. Because right now, almost every real estate agent, when they hear from the consumer, when they hear, oh, I'm not sure if it's a good time, I don't know if I'm ready, maybe later, they never think of us. Real estate agents don't ever think to include the financing team when the client is not ready. And that is a major miss. So what you want to do is you want to train your agent partners to when they hear, I'm not sure, I'm not ready, whether it's a homeowner thinking about selling or a renter thinking of buying, you want both of them to say, you know what, you don't actually have to wonder if it's the right time. You don't have to not be sure. You should have absolute certainty. Let me just loop in our financing team. They're not going to sell you a mortgage, not going to do that stuff. But what they will do is give you all the information and education you need to make an incredibly competent decision. And so that is not verbiage that most real estate agents have ever used, right? And it's also typically not anything that mortgage professionals have ever asked for. But that is all changing. As a mortgage professional, we want every single human being to talk to us, whether they're 100% certain they're going to buy or sell, whether they're 100% certain they're not, whether they're somewhere in between. We want to talk to everybody because we can take them from I think I can to I know I should, or I'm not sure to I can't wait. And when our business partners see us do that, we become one of the most valuable partners they could ever have because it's the financial education aspect of it that gets people committed to yes or no. And so helping them do that is going to be incredibly important. You also want to talk about what we call financial transition planning for sellers. So if a homeowner is talking to a listing agent or just an agent in general, that agent should be thinking, okay, I need to get them in front of Ryan so Ryan can help them do a financial transition plan from their current home to their next home as a part of my listing package. It's going to increase their conversion on their listing presentations, and it will be a much better experience. They're likely going to get the next transaction, and then obviously you'll get that transaction as well from a lending partner perspective. And then the last way you can help them from a conversion perspective is just their database. So you guys would collectively offer equity analyses to every person in their database to help them uncover the equity that they have in their home, what they could do with it, how they could leverage it, how it best suits them, how they can plan for the future with it, generational wealth planning. And so it's a tool that real estate agents typically don't offer. But with you as a business partner, they have that to offer to their database. And then what those equity analyses plans oftentimes uncover is a need or a desire to buy or sell. That is the second thing that you want to make sure you're committing to, which is increase conversion for buyers and sellers. The third kind of layer of value is you want to elevate the collective value proposition. So that's a commitment that you're going to make. Mr. or Mrs. Agent, one of the things that I'm really excited about working with you is you already have a really great brand. Your brand is known for excellent consumer experience, for incredible results. But what we want to do is we want to take that brand to another level by our partnership. And one way that we do that is our long-term commitment to the consumer. So we, as you may or may not know, we don't just help someone buy a home. We help people become very successful, holistically well-rounded homeowners, and we help them grow their generational wealth proactively for 30 years. If you need more information on what I just said there, go to webinar number 1 that we did. I think it was back in April or May, and watch the value proposition webinar on YouTube. It will explain the whole thing. But ultimately, now, Mr. Agent, you get to say the exact same thing that we say. Right? You get to say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you shouldn't pay me 3% to help you buy or sell a home for 30 days or 60 days. The reason why you pay me 3% is because we help you and your family proactively for 30 years in every aspect of real estate and finance. And they just essentially parrot our value proposition. But the thing is, they don't have to actually do anything differently. They just do their job normally while we support the long-term execution of that value proposition. And what we tell them is it's like commission protection, because inevitably someone's going to come to them and say, well, so and so, my cousin or my friend's buddy said he would sell my house for 1%, or he'd help me buy a home for 1%. That's great, but you're only going to get 30 days worth of value. And even then, it's not likely going to be as valuable. But the reason why you pay our team for the 3% is for 30 years. And they list out everything that happens from before, during, and most importantly, after the transaction. And so then you'd want to introduce them to your client success strategy. In our case, we introduce them to our client success team, and we show that agent how that client success manager is going to proactively commit and execute on our long-term commitment, right? And they get to see the post-closing call, how we get referrals, how we get testimonials. They get to see how we refer to their CPAs, their financial planners, their estate planning attorneys on the 90-day call. They get to see our perfect mortgage promise and our commitment that they're always in the right home and the right loan at the right time. They get to be a part of our annual financial reviews and see all the notes that have been taken and the goals that we're setting with the client. And so when you show a really great builder or a really great agent, when you show them that is now their long-term value, right? Like it is a light bulb that goes off because it's an unfair advantage that they are going to have over their competition. And if you want to see it live, just check out my Instagram story from today. An agent that we just partnered with in Michigan. She literally just put a story on mine and one of our mortgage advisors' Instagram channels today, just parroting exactly what I just said. And she's super excited that now that is her reality. And so you can see it take hold pretty real time with the right business partners. So again, number 3 is elevate the collective value proposition. Help them elevate what they offer to their clients. And the cool part about that is that if you have a top agent or a top builder and someone says, well, why you? And they just say everything I just said, that we're going to help you for 30 years. Here's why our clients use us. We're going to help you grow generational wealth. And they can't hand out 3 cards because you're the only one who actually executes it, right? So it deepens and strengthens the partnership every time they deliver it. And then obviously you deliver on your end. Number 4, listing inventory leverage. This is a bit of a cheat code. I'll be honest, it has been gangbusters for us in the last 60 to 90 days. Oftentimes as lenders, we always look at, okay, who are the buyer's agents? And we have to stop doing that because buyer's agents historically are going to get their leads from a lead source, likely Zillow, which means that Zillow mortgage is in play, which means that you're going to be in a challenging situation. So we want to look for well-rounded real estate teams, and we want to look at how many listings they are generating, because there's an opportunity for us to exponentialize both of our businesses through every listing. So a strategy that you can deploy is, let's say I'm talking to Gary, the real estate agent, and I say, Gary, next time you're about to go to a listing presentation, let me know, talk to me first. Let me know what you believe the value of that home would be or where you would list that property. And then what I'll do is I'll just do the math on our end. I'll commit to buying down the interest rate on that listing. So I can commit 2 points to buy down that listing. That would come from our funds as a lender. And here's what's going to happen. You get to walk into that listing presentation and you get to offer them the opportunity to say, hey, look, if we were to list this home for 500 and just do a standard $500,000 listing, which is about what it's worth, all of the buyers that would look at buying this home would have roughly a 6.5% interest rate, whatever the rate is of the day. And here's what that payment would look like. What I want to do is I want to introduce you to Ryan's my lender. He's going to show you a strategy where they are going to use their money from a lending perspective to buy the interest rate down. And we're going to use a little bit of seller proceeds. So we're actually going to list it at 510. We're going to use maybe 10,000 of the seller proceeds, and we're going to use maybe 8,000 or so of the lender's funds. And we're going to buy that rate down to 499. So this property is going to go on the market, $510,000 home at a 499 interest rate. And that means everyone that was maxed out at 400 or 450 that could never even look at your home is going to fall in love with your home and want to buy it, and they'll be able to qualify for it. And everyone who qualified at 500 but didn't want the 6.5% payment, right? They're going to want it. And anybody above that price is going to want it. So it's going to create a massive amount of demand, very similar to how builders do forward commitments. They buy those rates down and they sell those properties like crazy because people are buying the payment. They're not buying the property or the price. And so we go to the agent, we say, look, Mr. Agent, you're going to win every listing because no other agent will have the type of partnership where we're investing in the listing for you. And so you get that because you introduce us to the seller. We'll do a financial transition plan to help the seller transition into their new property, which means that I will earn the seller's business buying their new home. I'll 100% get every buyer on that listing because the only way they get the 499 is if they do the loan through us. And then of the 10 other people that qualify through us because they want that rate on that home, we're going to refer as many of them back to you because oftentimes they come to the listing unattached. They're not going to have an agent associated with them. So we're going to drive as much of that business back to you so you can represent those buyers when they buy a different property. And then we're going to try and obviously help them on their mortgages. And we're also going to help any of the other families that are working with other agents get mortgages on their other properties. And that revenue helps us get more revenue to continue to reinvest. When we tell agents this, it's like oxygen just got pumped in the room for the first time, right? And you can get 5 to 6 deals off of every listing if you do it right. And it just takes collaboration, it takes teamwork. But the listing agent, again, is going to win every listing. They'll probably get every listing in the market because why would you not want to list with the agent who can make your home infinitely more valuable? Why would you list with a regular agent who just sells the regular property at the regular price at the regular interest rate, at the regular payment? So again, this strategy you only want to do with the top agents in the market, but it's the listing inventory leverage that you really want to work here. Okay, number 5 is forward commitments for builders. So guys, if you're anywhere near builders in today's world, this is a must. Inventory is sitting for longer, and every day that a builder holds inventory is thousands of dollars in lost profitability. Carrying costs, financing, money not being repaid on the money that they pulled through. And so that's why builders are so stringent about closing on time, getting deals done. It's because every minute of every day counts. And in a world where we don't want to just have to keep dropping costs, it's much more appropriate for builders to actually prepay and buy interest rate tranches in advance. So all of our builder partners that we're working with, they're buying forwards at a pretty good clip consistently every month because they want to ensure that their properties come with a 499 rate or a 399 interest rate. And then those properties fly off the shelf because they're just incomparable to anything on the resale market. And so what's really cool is when you combine lead generation with forward commitments. So think through this, and this is what we tell all the builders that we're pitching about this partnership is, look, imagine you have a 499 associated with multiple properties that are ready to be listed. As we're generating our leads, right, and people are saying, oh yeah, I want to qualify for a $500,000 home. Oh wow, Mrs. Smith, did you know that there's actually a builder that we partner with that is right down the street, that they actually have brand new properties that they've incentivized the interest rate at 4.99%. So that would be equivalent to you buying a $600,000 home. Wow, really? Yeah, do you want us to put you in touch? Great. Now you put that client directly in touch with the builder. The builder oftentimes will save the agent commission because they don't necessarily need to have a buyer's agent when you put them right in touch with the builder. So the builder is going to save 2-3%, whatever their participation is. And you're going to drive business directly to them, which then replenishes their forward. So it is a awesome cheat code when you combine those two things together. But again, in the builder world, you want to make sure you have forward commitment capability, and you want to make sure that if you can combine that with lead gen, it's a game changer. All right, let's pause for a few questions here. Paul says, can you further explain the lender investment in the interest rate 499, specifically where is the investment coming from? Paul, that would come from us as the lender. You would invest that from your proceeds on the mortgage. Now you might be saying, well, we don't have 2 points to give plus our profitability. That's why margin matters. And it really only works if you have really great economics. If you have a really solid economic setup in your business, you have the ability to execute that strategy. If you don't have like full economic transparency, if you don't have full economic participation, if you're capped on margin, it's going to be really hard to execute that strategy. It's a game changer when you have it. Renee is saying, how is Ryan getting rate in the fours? That option is not even on a rate sheet. It's basically about a 4-point buy down. So whoever asked that question. So we use 2 points from the seller concessions, 2 points from our funds. Obviously, it has to meet interested party contributions. So if it's 10% down or less conventional, then max is 3%, but you can still work with that. Crystal said, if it's 2 points, you're charging points. Are you backing up the margin or both? No, we don't actually charge the points. We show them and then we discount them. We show the points as an interested party contribution coming from us, but the buyer does not have to pay them. Okay, so let's move on. All right, collaborative tech, team, and scale is number 6. So the 6th layer of value. This is really where you start to see real estate and mortgage teams come together in some really cool ways. You want to integrate as much as you possibly can here. So integrate your CRM where they have a seat in yours, you have a seat in theirs. If you can find a way to use the same one, great. I haven't seen it really work successfully. Typically, the best real estate agents are going to use a follow-up boss or something similar. Lendware/ADM is a really great one for the lending side of the equation. Gives agents awesome updates, weekly updates, all that kind of stuff. But integrating CRMs is super helpful. Obviously, lead funneling, you want to make sure that those are integrated, especially if it's happening real time. And then LOS comms. So whatever your loan origination software is, just make sure those communications are dialed. If you have AI built into your LOS, it can clearly do all your communication to your agents. It can do your communication to all parties. But when that happens, it takes a lot more stress and pressure off of the origination team having to be the ones to constantly do the upkeep and the communications. When it comes to the team side of it, know the teammates. So on any mega team, you're typically going to have your listing agent or maybe a few preeminent listing agents. And then you're going to have 4, 5, 6 buyers agents that set the open houses, that aggregate buyer business, that really work the database, work leads that come in. And so understand who is who on that team and help integrate each person into that process. And understand that as you're building this thing, like if you do this right, every listing is 5 more deals. So if there's 5 listings in a month, you now have 25 deals to contend with. And that is going to be more agents probably that they need to hire and understand how. You'll need to understand how to scale the tech and the team part of your business. But ultimately, when that is done well, it's just a mechanism of, okay, who's like this person's next, this person's next, this person's next. And that whole blueprint can be laid out in advance. But when that happens, when you see that like team and system configuration that happen between the builder and lender, it's really magical and it's hard to break. It's hard to disrupt that once it's in place. Okay, number 7 is integrated databases and co-branded communication. This one is incredibly important. So one of the things that we tell all of our new partners, agents, and builders is that when we launch, we need to do a video to the database. They need to introduce us. We need to make sure that we tell our story to all of their clients that likely have never heard of us before, why we're here. Like, why do they decide to partner with us? What are we excited about? How are we going to add value to the database? What's in it for them? If my mortgage team joins Gary's real estate team, how does Gary's clients benefit from it? So the database outreach is going to be really important there. Video is great. Text is great. Obviously, email drip is great. It's probably the third in the chain. And the consistency of it is important as well. They should see and hear from you collectively at least once a month. Aged lead outreach. This is really important. There's AI out there that can do this for almost anybody. But if you work in an organization that has AI built into your CRM and your LOS, have it go to work on any age leads that real estate team has. And oftentimes you can bring a good amount of those back to life really early in the partnership. So that's typically one of the first things we'll do in a new partnership is attack their age leads with our AI generative chat. And we can pull a lot of new opportunities back in, which is a form of lead generation in its own. But that's a really good one to do is not only connect with their database, but connect with any aged leads that may be sitting or stale. And then lastly is refi and HELOC. Real estate teams don't have the ability to do that. We do. So that's a huge value that now they can say, hey, look, we brought this partner in because we want to ensure that every single one of your mortgages and all of your liabilities are actively managed. If that's not happening for you today, if you have not heard, and this would be me, like Gary, the real estate agent, speaking to my database, if you don't have an active strike rate with your current lender, if your lender hasn't told you what your target mortgage payment is for your refinance, If they're not updating you monthly as to how close you are to that happening, that means that no one's managing your liability. And that to me is unacceptable as your real estate professional. So Ryan and his team are now going to be doing that. Here's a link where you can schedule with his team, and they will adopt your mortgage and they will actively manage that liability for you to a place where you're never going to have to worry if you're in the right home or the right loan again. It's an awesome strategy, especially when it comes from the realtor. And then same thing with HELOCs, because so many people need HELOCs, especially coming into Q4 holiday season 2025. People's credit scores are challenged, their debts are up. So HELOCs are an awesome opportunity to offer to the database as well. Okay, number 8, investing in a great business partnership. Team, I heard this most of my career. I've always got feedback, I can't take Ryan's realtors because he pays them. First of all, nobody pays the realtor. We do it all through compliant channels. You could do a marketing services agreement. You could do a desk rental. You could do a collaborative lead spend. You could do event sponsorships. There's so many ways in which, as a business partner, you can RESPA compliantly invest in someone's business. Now, just like any other business, if it's a good business, you should invest in it. If a real estate team is running a really successful business, you as a business partner should invest in that business. Now, again, it does require that you have a really good, transparent economic setup so you know what you're dealing with on your side of the economic ledger. For goodness sakes, every agent is out there working their tail off and they run expensive businesses. Like these aren't cheap businesses to run. So if as a business partner, if we're benefiting from all of the business that they are sending us, then why would we not want to double down into that business? Why would we not want to help them lower their cost or increase their opportunities, which then ultimately benefits us? As long as it's compliant and as long as it meets the RESPA guidelines, which there's an infinite number of ways to do, then we should definitely do that. And then the other opportunity is just invest in their listings, as we talked about previously. And investing in their listings isn't going to lower their costs, but it will drastically increase their top line. And that's what most agents want. They want to figure out, how do we get more market share? How do we take our unfair share? Okay, we have 2 left. I'm going to check questions here. I'll see. Unlike a builder lender, if I did this, I could capture a ton of the fallout from those who applied, but ultimately get that listing sharp idea. Yeah, whoever the autonomous attendee is, that is 100% accurate. Builder lenders will always pre-approve anybody, but then they just close the one home with the one person and everybody else just goes away. They don't help them with refis. They don't help them with other homes. They're not helping them with anything. A listing gives you the opportunity to help an infinite number of people that didn't get that property, and you can do it over and over again. And then you just effectively look at that partnership and be like, wow, this is incredible. I'm going to keep going. But again, it takes really strong economics. You need to have a really sharp economic platform for that process to work. It still plays. Let's see. Can you provide or suggest a line to put on a listing we are offering about? Yeah. So Dan, that's a really good one. We talk to our agent partners about this all the time. Every MLS is different. Every county is different. Every area is different in terms of what they will allow you to market in the MLS. What we recommend is using Housing Link. So Housing Link is a phenomenal. It's housing.link for those of you who don't know, and it is a phenomenal platform where you can create templates. And all they need to do is just loop in that website. So they can put the website anywhere where they're marketing that property. And it can be updated daily. You can do video content. You throw your TCEs in there. It's an incredible platform, but it's one that you would want to use for this. It just provides the consistency there, because what you can and cannot put in the MLS is different in every market, or sometimes even per real estate board. Okay, we are coming down the home stretch here. We got 2 left. Number 9, consistency of strategic planning and team collaboration. So this is something that is missed more often than not. Even in relationships, it's missed. You want to be at these teams' weekly meetings, whether it's virtually, right, via Zoom, or in person. And what you don't want to do is stand up there and do the same dumb shit that we have always done, which is, here's the updated interest rates, here's some new products, here's some new programs, and then half the time people are asleep. So what you want to do is you want to get up there and you want to audit the week. Stand up in front of the group and say, okay, team, you'll have 5, 6, 7 agents. It's one team you're working with, not a huge company. And you say, okay, tell me all the buyer conversations you had this week. Did anybody say anything? Was anyone not ready? Right? Was anyone pre-approved but wasn't ready to write an offer? And you work through those and, oh yeah, I had, okay, great, send me them. What you're doing is you're changing habits, because they're not going to change on their own. You have to change them week over week. Okay, great. Send me that buyer, send me that buyer, send me that buyer. Awesome. Okay. What about sellers? Did you talk to any homeowners who didn't actually want to list their property or didn't think it was a good time? Oh yeah, I talked to the Smiths. Okay, great. Let me do a financial transition plan, equity analysis. Okay, great. And they're just going to start putting you in touch with people each week because it's not in their standard operating system. The reticular activator isn't looking for what you're looking for. Any listings coming up that we need to do our listing leverage strategy on? Any open houses coming up that we need to create marketing or collateral for? Any objections that you had that you heard from anyone that kind of stumped you or you felt like you didn't have what you needed? Like you want to get up and coach that team and help them navigate. So every week it's less and less about what they didn't do and more about the opportunity. And then you start to move into growth from there. But what you really want to do is you want to improve as a team. You don't want to just get up there and spout off something that nobody wants to hear. You want to help them understand how to navigate the market in certain places. And then if there is like a significant market update or a loan program change or something like that, obviously fill everybody in, but that shouldn't be the key to that. So hopefully that helps you in any meetings that you're doing. Do not talk about stuff that nobody cares about. Talk about things that move the needle. And last but not least is going to be number 10, which is going to be combined visibility. So you want to do as much as you can collectively together with that team leader. You're the leader of the mortgage team. They're the leader of the real estate team. They're the leader of the builder or the leader of the builder sales group. You want to do as much collaborative video content as you can. Go to the community, do video with that team at that community. When you present yourself collectively to the public, partnerships that are more public are challenging to disrupt, and most people won't even try. If they see like how deeply embedded you are as a partner to a builder or a lender, they're not even going to call them. But just stay away from them entirely. Right. But if that visibility isn't there, then that they may see that as a door being open. Listing content. So every time that they have a listing, making sure that go by the listing, go by the open house, shoot a quick video of, hey, I'm here with Sally, amazing real estate agent at this open house, blah blah blah. Do the things that show collaboration and collective visibility. Share success stories. Showcase your collective value through your client success. We help the Smiths do X. We help the Joneses do Y. Here's how, the Davidson's little boy and little girl now just picked up a new room. Like anything that you could collaboratively do to see, hey, this is what happens when you work with a great realtor and lender or a great builder and lender, not just one or the other. That collaboration moment is an exponentializer. And then ultimately, anything that you can do to show teamwork, whether you're at the office together, you're doing power hours, you're doing call sessions, you're doing listing strategy sessions, anything that shows teamwork and the impact is all going to be great content to put out into the world. Okay, those are 10 things there. We're going to move into close here, but here's the thing. I know now you have the playbook, and team, if you want all 10 of these things listed out, just again, direct message me, put your email address, happy to send them over to you. I'll send you the full playbook. But now that you have it, I'm just going to assume that you're all going to leave this webinar and you're just going to run out and you're going to talk to the number 1 through number 5 agents in your market. Are we going to do that? Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that's not the case. And I know that because we did an exercise with our team recently. And I was just wondering, hey, we have this incredible playbook here. We have this partnership opportunity. Why are we not calling the number 1 agent in every market and then 2 and 3 and 4? And what we realized is that sometimes you just don't know how valuable you are until you know the addressable audience. So we've done this exercise before where I've asked you on a scale of 1 to 100, where do you rank yourself in terms of value? Like, where are you in terms of being the most valuable mortgage professional in your market? Scale of 1 to 100. If you want to type it in, great. If not, just answer it in your head. And if you are not number 1, do not take another step in any direction until you figure out how to be that. Again, I'm not talking about production. You could do 10 million in total volume per year. And there could be someone in your market that does 500 million, a billion. The question is, are they just a better marketer? Are they a better salesperson? Do they run a better business? Or are they legitimately more valuable to the business partner and to the client? Because anyone that we lead, they sure as hell better be number 1 in their own head. Now, if somebody shows up and they lay out what they do and you look at it and you're like, yep, that's more valuable than what I do. Great. That means you now have something to shoot for. You know why they're more valuable and you know exactly what you need to solve to be more valuable to the agent and to the business partner. But in the absence of that, be number 1 in your own head and go act like it. because the real estate agents of the future and the builders of the future, they need you to be number one. All right, I'm just going to ask you to stop playing small. If you're going to be here, be here. Be all the way here. Believe in yourself, believe in who you are, believe in what you do. And then just go after these agents and these builders as a true business partner. Because if you don't execute those 10 things, there's people coming behind you that will. And that agent will look at that and that builder will look at them and say, this is clearly a better partnership. We had one guy that we talked to the other day. He was like, my lender introduced me to my wife. Like, how would I need to break up with them now? How do I do that? It was a genuine, like, vulnerable moment. He worked with this lender for years, obviously has a very close relationship, but in an hour heard what we were committing to and immediately realized, okay, I got to break up with them and we'll move forward with you guys. And that's the future of this industry. That's where I want all of you to really work hard to get. So if we can help, please reach out, let me know. And before we wrap, I wanted to offer you guys all a sneak peek at next month's webinar. This is the giveaway I talked about in the beginning. I want to make sure you have a head start on anybody else. If you're here, if you spent 50 minutes investing in yourself, investing in your business, I want you to have the opportunity to have it on this before anyone else. So we just put in the chat, you'll see as a giveaway, it says ownyourfutureinmortgage.com. Click on that link. You don't need to fill it out right now, but click on that link. And what it is, this is a mortgage professional business assessment. And I highly encourage all of you to take it. And what you'll find is that it asks you questions that our industry just does not teach us to ask ourselves as business owners. All right. So it's going to shed a lot of light on your business. And in some ways, it might not feel good. But more importantly, it's going to shed light on what the future of our industry is going to need and how each one of us need to be positioned. And for those of you who complete the assessment, I'll get notified. Just make sure to put your name and information in there. I'll get notified when you fill out the assessment, and I will commit to spending time with you reviewing it. I'll help you navigate it from likely, spoiler alert, likely what will be a low score. If you're really honest about the questions and you let pride and ego go and you just are really curious and like, okay, that's probably a no and that might be a yes. But most people are going to get a lower score. I want to help you get to 100%, because for those people who answer 100% or get 100% of this assessment, the next decade will be the most generationally wealth-changing decade of your entire career. Again, click on it. It's ownyourfutureinmortgage.com. It is going to be really enlightening. It'll challenge you in ways that you may not have thought of before. And if you take the time to finish it, I'll connect with you. We'll spend some time and I'll do everything I can to help you get that score up to 100%. Okay, we got about 8 minutes left. I'll stick around if there is any questions here. Paul says, where can we find previous Zoom meetings? All in YouTube. So just go to YouTube Ryan Grant. And every previous webinar we have had, this is webinar number 7, I believe. Next month is going to be webinar number 8. And we are going to go through that assessment step by step, but it's going to be brand new for a lot of people. So you will have a 30-day head start on anybody who is seeing it real time then. And goal is just to help people answer those questions real time, to help you understand how to get from a no to a yes in some of those areas, and just make sure that everybody's really well prepared for what's coming, because the next 2 years is going to be so radically different from the last 20 that answering yes to those questions is going to be paramount to everybody's success here. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to type it in the Q&A, drop it in the chat if you can, raise your hand if you'd like. We got about 6 more minutes. I'll hang out. All right, team. Now, if there's nothing else, I just want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you for investing in yourself. As always, come back for the next webinar. We'll try and deliver. Oh, we got Jason coming in with the raised hand here. Jason, go ahead and see if I can find you. All right, you can talk if you'd like. Oh, I think I may have done that with Jake. All right, Jason, you there?
I am. I raised my hand by mistake, but I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, cool. All good.
But I will ask, what was that CRM you mentioned for the loan officer?
It used to be called Adium. They just rebranded to what's called Lendware.
Okay.
If you search either one, you can find it, but it's really great collaborative between realtor and lender.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right. Anybody else? Let's see. Randy says, can you describe playing offense? Yeah, Randy, playing offense is just bringing all 10 of those things to the table on your terms, as opposed to having your best agent come to you and say, hey, Randy, you are awesome and I love you and I appreciate you, but Ryan Grant just came and offered me all of this stuff. how can I not use him? And then you have to play defense, right? And that's not a position that any of us should want to be in. So playing offense is having all of this, having these tools, having these opportunities, bringing them to your agent first, and that's being on offense the whole time. Greg, you had raised your hand. You can unmute yourself if you'd like. Greg, maybe do you have your hand up on accident?
Oh, sorry. Could you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Oh, great. I wanted to know what LOS are you using with these AI integrations for communicating with customers?
Ours is called Tin Man. It's proprietary to our company, so unfortunately, I can't really help anybody go
Gotcha.
access it. But there are, I think, bolt-ons to other LOSs that are trying to use that now. But I can't really speak to them, unfortunately.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Skip, you said, can you share the details of the dreams and goals call? Yeah, Skip, if you're a Loan Atlas member, the whole thing is dialed in. There's game film, there's all the scripts and processes there. Effectively, the dreams and goals call is the initial phone call you have with the client to do more than just take the application. It sets you apart immediately. If a realtor hears you have a dreams and goals call versus just taking an application, they'll know immediately that you're their person. And the client will know immediately as well. They'll know that very quickly they're dealing with a different animal. All right. Anything else in the last couple minutes here? Team, thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your month and a great start to November. Reach out if you need anything, and hopefully we will see you third week or the third Thursday of next month on our next webinar. Thanks, y'all.